Welcome back to Breakfast Central. We are going to be reviewing the papers this morning and opening the phone lines. So if you'd like to share your thoughts, react to any of the stories and make a few comments, the numbers to call are on your TV screen. Alternatively, if you're streaming on YouTube, you can drop your comments in the chat box and I'll pick them. This morning, we're joined by public affairs analyst Sesan Okunade. Good morning.
Good morning, Olive, and good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, Olive, why did you have to call him by his full botanical name?
To show you that he's not a GMO crop.
Okay, he's true.
He's
That's
organic.
deep. That's a real name. And
Yes.
at least I acknowledge that this morning.
I'm very glad. I'm very glad. Okay, let's get into the papers this morning. On the front page of let's start with Daily Trust, actually. On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, the big story, Southern candidate, Jonathan or Obi, like play, they brought former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan into this conversation. And you can see here, murder, 5 children killed in Katsina building collapse. How 3 Yobe teenagers emerged victorious in world competitions. We talked about one of them today. Sudan hit by world's worst hunger crisis, according to the UN. 22 persons killed in Niger auto crash. Zamfara bandits abduct 150 persons in 4 days. See the way they are moving people like container. In 4 days, 150 people.
I mean, kudos to the Daily Trust. They're not.
They are always sharing.
To put these stories there, because I mean, these are people's lives, and it's important that we speak about them. It's really sad, but we move on like nothing is happening.
Exactly. I mean, if you check the other papers we are looking at today, none of them has this Zamfara story. None. Only the Daily Trust. Anyway, we'll come back to that. Remi Tinubu donates 4.15 billion naira in 7 months. Our Mother Teresa. Cargo clearance costs to rise as customs begin 4% levy collection. So let's start with the big story. Southern candidates, Jonathan or Obi. Political permutations have started for the ADC. There's also the speculation
15
that
months
they want to bring
to campaigns. They
that if
started
the PDP,
already.
Exactly. That if the PDP is going to stand any chance in 2027, that it's either they go and beg Obi to come back and join them, or they go and bring former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to be their representative. But let's get you to speak on that.
Yeah, well, at least it's clear now. The issue of fighting whether they want to cede the presidency to the north is now clear that the PDP is considering having it to the south to have someone to compete with the current president, who is also from the south. So whether Obi, whether Jonathan, the coast is cleared. We have to leave it for them to see whether those ones we agree to actually come out and be their presidential candidate to actually give it a fight to the current president. But you see, one thing that I've always been asking myself is, Joe mentioned that this is like 15 months to 2027. And I've in the last 6 months, I've not heard about 2026. And I'm asking myself, are we back to...
The way you said it there.
The way COVID period, people say, amen. That year went by in a blur, so I'm not counting that year. It feels like that's what's happening.
It's like, if 2026 were to be in person,
Yeah.
he will be shouting, I'm here now. Hello, I'm here. Look at me.
Because you wake up every day, and it's about 2027. 2020, and I'm like, is it going to be double promotion for us as if we are in school?
January 1st next year is January 1st,
2027.
Yeah,
because the only information, and I stand to be, a lot of us are in the space, the only information I've heard, it's about January 1st, the implementation of the new sign tax, fiscal policy tax reform that will commence January 1st, 2026. And I'm like, it's just going to be January 1st, 2026, and the next day will be January 1st, 2026. So you see, this mechanism of whether it's going to be Obi or it's going to be Jonathan, well, we leave it in their hands to see that those ones actually give their consent. My worries is about whosoever, the current administration, the person coming in 2027, what we are actually advocating for is good governance that we are actually not getting. I said something to some of our people on sister station to say, we are out there to celebrate the Falcons, the Tiger. I'm actually waiting for Olive, possibly as one of the star
She's been
in
wearing
the
green all
media.
week. She's
I've been
She's
wearing
been
green in
wearing
support,
green,
yes.
so that at least $100,000 can come. And I'm sure those of us on
I'm
this
not
table
doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I
You have
believe,
passion,
yes,
the
I believe
patriotism.
in the fact that women can change the world. That's what I'm doing.
And
It's not
that's
about the
why,
money
because it's
for
all
me.
about ladies. And I when a lot of people criticize that $100,000 is actually too, and I said, look at the crop of those ladies that won this thing. A lot of them don't even practice here in the country. Do we have the infrastructure to give them that level?
We just finished a whole conversation on that.
So I keep telling every individual that we are asking for good governance, economic-wise. A lot of policies are out there, but it's not actually speaking to reality that we have out there. You still go to the market, a bag of rice is as high as 80,000. And I know I was not too far. It's not even up to 10 years when we're buying rice for 8,000, 10,000, 15,000.
Not up to 5 years.
You know, not even up to 5 years. You understand? So, and all of a sudden, we're talking of 80,000. A crate of egg where they will tell you that as we are celebrating,
6.8 now.
it's about between 6.5 and 6.8
now.
And I know while we're growing up, they will tell you that a child is entitled to have an egg per day.
Yes.
So can you afford to get that particular thing? When it was 800, people can still have those things. So I think this politicking, paper, in fact, we should be discussing other things, but now it's politics, because that's what we have at the front burner every day. I think it should be more of governance than this politicking that we have started at this point of time.
Talking about governance and the impact, because, I mean, politicking, the people you elect will determine the quality of governance you get. And that brings me to this next news item. On the front page of the Daily Trust, cargo clearance costs to rise as customs begins 4% levy collection. It's almost like the average Nigerian cannot catch a break.
Let Nigerians
After
breathe.
squeezing us from subsidy removal, floating of the naira, we're still dealing with the shocks of those. And of course, electricity increased tariff, telecommunications. No one is dashing Nigerians money from somewhere where there's no corresponding increase in real wages, apart from the minimum wage. And I mean, it's minuscule compared to the increment that average Nigerians have to deal with. Now, the customs is saying begin a 4% levy collection. Is the customs an exercise meant to generate money? Is that their primary assignment? Or facilitate trade and business? Because it seems, you know, most Nigerian government agencies are just every quarter they're declaring record revenue. Even states have begun to use IGR as, you know, campaign tools. We increase IGR to this, but what are you using the money for? And at the detriment of what are you generating this IGR? Because imagine people that want to buy cars now. They will, I mean, the consumers, they'll pass on the cost to the consumers. It's going to really affect them.
Yeah, being at the 4%, I think it's one of those things that was in the new tax reform. And one thing that is actually confusing to me at this point in time is we are consolidating the revenue collection to the Nigerian Revenue Service. So which will be just, you know, which is going to be one. So custom is going to be like a directorate under that particular. And the implementation of this 4%, I think, is a development levy that the Presidential Task Force actually said we are removing all these small levies here and there, and let it just be harmonized it to be 4% development levy. And what is surprising is if we are kickstarting this now, as against the implementation of January, is confusing, but I'll get that clarity.
All right.
But going by what you are actually saying, a lot of people are boasting about revenue collection, but we are not seeing the translation of that particular thing.
All right, let's pause on that for a bit. Jonathan's namesake, Joe, is calling from Imo State. Good morning, Joe's namesake. Thank you for calling this morning. Please go ahead.
You're not sure if it's Jonathan or Joseph or Jeroboam.
Jeroboam will be Jay.
Are you there?
Joe, are you there? Oh, I really wanted to hear from Joe.
Okay. There can only be one.
Hey!
Sabotage that call.
That was good. That was a good one. Oh, Joe is here. Joe, please go ahead.
You spoke too soon.
Can you hear us?
Taxes are still laid down now on
We're struggling to hear you.
We're struggling to hear you, Joe. Can you maybe speak up? The audio is really low.
You see the masses that are paying this money.
Okay.
You see the masses. What is
Okay.
the essence of increasing taxes and we're not seeing the effect? Costing generate 10 billion, 20 billion. And by the end of the day, the price of goods and services is still increased. On the OB and the PDP, LP, Labour Party issue, I would have advised that LP, Labour Party, and the PDP come together and have OB as their presidential candidate. That will do better for Nigerians and for OB, because this AGC, I see it as a party of people with personal interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
He made a statement there that I haven't thought of. Labour Party and PDP come together.
Do you know we have alliance, we have consolidation, we have
Merger.
merger. No,
There's
merger
also
will be to
coalition.
swallow
Yeah, that's what I'm
coalition.
saying.
Merger will be to swallow up
coalition,
that party. So
alliance.
they can form coalition and let's see what they can. Because people said it last election that if PDP and Labour have consolidated to produce one candidate,
What would that mean?
possibly
Because one of the challenges, the PDP accordingly has structures. Labour Party is still struggling to put the structures in place. So it's
no,
like,
they have obedient.
No,
Obedient
when we
movement.
say structures, we
Movement.
mean, remember what happened in the last election? They weren't at all polling units.
But,
and all
but,
that.
but without
They
that
still manage
structure,
to
they still
produce
manage to
senators
produce
and,
now.
governor.
And governor, at least they have a governor without structure. So you can imagine when you now consolidate with a party with structure. So you can see where they will definitely
And also
get it.
knowing that what used to be the bone in the throat of the PDP,
PDP has
left,
actually
Mr.
moved
Atiku.
to ADC. So they can, I think that
his
the man is
votes in the
suggesting
ADC, if he gets a ticket, would also split.
But there's
votes that should go
while
to
we're
PDP.
talking, one person is saying that
The problems are over.
the problems are over, but he's still part and parcel of the party, but he's still working for the APC.
He's one person.
Okay, he's
He's
one.
one person.
No, that one is
At the
one.
end of the day, he's
one
entitled
person
to one vote.
It's one person like five.
A powerful
It's a
person.
powerhouse. Okay.
Let's move on to the next
Let's move
paper
on to the
very quickly.
leadership newspaper.
All right, let's look
called-
at
Yes.
leadership, right?
Yes, please.
Let me see if I can lay my hands on it. Okay, there it goes. Oil workers want government refineries fixed before sale.
Are you kidding me?
I had to laugh that way. You
It's
want
true
them
now.
to-
You want to say
What
something
about
that is
the
defective.
1.
Can you buy a car that has
Is
faulty
it 1.2
gearbox?
billion or so that has been expended on the turnaround maintenance and nothing has been done yet?
That's on the...
Are you kidding me?
Anyway, collapsed building kills mother, 5 children in Katsina. Very sad story. Insurance to recapitalize the Tinubu signs insurance reform bill into law. I don't know if you know about the insurance bill. It's a new one that's been signed into law.
It's a good one for the
I heard it's a
industry.
very good one. It's very good. So that's kudos. That's another feather to the heart of Mr. President and his administration for looking to that. Benue Assembly suspends 5 lawmakers for concealing report here. Revive United Nigeria Textiles, MS Sanusi tells federal government. That would be a fantastic one. But let's look at this big
But how
story.
can they with GMO cotton?
Let's look at this big story. Abuja overtakes Lagos as Nigeria records $5.64 billion capital importation in Q1.
Big one. This Lagos State.
So are you going to move to Abuja soon? Lagos is not investment friendly as it were.
And Lagos is dark in the night.
I asked myself the
potholes,
question that Lagos is referred to as the commercial nerve center of the country, and if you are moving everything, that means the man at the center seems to have moved everything to Abuja, because when he was in Lagos, we know how the whole thing. I'm yet to study that particular report, but I think Lagos should be up and doing. I still know that this is where it happens. We go to Abuja. Abuja activity is Mondays to Friday. Activities in Lagos is Monday to Sunday. I'm
Sunday
sure.
to Sunday.
Sunday to Sunday.
Abuja
So
is more government driven.
Focus.
Yeah. So if you say that it's attracting a lot of capital influx into that particular area, then we start asking, let's see you see, most of the time we see a lot of paperwork, figures and everything. But in reality, you ask yourself, because I'm looking at, I've been to Abuja, infrastructures are there growing, but I'm not seeing industries. Have you been to Lagos Ibadan Expressway recently? I've had cause to travel in the last few weeks, Lagos Ibadan, and I'm like, these are industries springing up from left, right, possibly in the next few years, maybe 3, 4, 5 years. You may not be able to distinguish between Lagos and Ibadan.
But I guess maybe the reason why we don't often see these things in Abuja is because they're designated zones for, industries, and it's highly mapped out
in such a way that you cannot. How many reports? Maybe how many of such reports, Benga, have you actually brought on the limelight to say, okay, this is what you are getting? You have your correspondent.
Idu Industrial Zone, for example.
Idu Industrial Zone. Can you compare it with our own Idu Mota if you are using IDU?
I mean, Abuja is a new city relative.
It is. So commercial activity is not something that should be hidden. That you only see the manifestation.
I'm happy that you've seen the development. I mean, the cable companies, petrochemical companies on the way to Lagos, Ibadan, and then it shows the economy is thriving. Before, it used to just be religious houses.
Yeah, that I can say. It's no longer the affairs of religious houses. Organized industries are actually springing up. Whether they've started operation, that I cannot actually yield to.
And
but as you can see,
religious houses, because
they open up the place
that chase all the demons inside the forest.
And now can open up the businesses. I think we need to open one of those churches for Benga to start there. But in all seriousness, I think government should try as much as possible to see how we'll see some of these figures that they are actually speaking to. I think in one of the headlines Olive read while I was listening this morning, we're already talking about flooding in certain areas. I think government needs to be proactive when it comes to it. If you're asking people to relocate, I ask myself the question, where are they relocating to? What are the measures that we've had? We hear this year in, year out. I know that when there are natural disasters, there's something you cannot quite avert. If you are asking them, I think maybe every year government should be looking at if we can create IDP because of insecurity, where people can stay. Can we have such villages, around us here, where we have the tableland, where temporarily people can relocate to in the time of flooding? We've seen
the Honorable Tokunbo Wahab suggested places that are not prone to flood. Ikeja is one of them.
Where's the house? Are they going to move and?
Are they going to now stay with you?
I mean,
or those buildings are there?
I do understand that abroad they do have like
temporary shelter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You don't have a temporary social people. You have family and friends now. I mean, flood is chasing you in.
You come to your
that's what I'm saying. So from Lekki you can come at no cost.
Well, Olive cannot come. I have a jealous wife. Joe, you're welcome, bro. Yeah, bro. Thanks for having me.
But when a man is coming, he's not coming alone.
He's coming with his wife and his children.
The man is there. Exactly.
What if I come with my husband? Is there room for me?
Oh, yes. Then
hey, God. National television.
So I feel rather than saying people should relocate, the government too should try. We can develop such temporary structures. Yeah. I remember during COVID, the former commissioner were able to put up mini structure that, and it was collapsed after the program. If you have such, you can.
I mean, I'm not sure. I think the government does have certain provisions like that, because I watched an excerpt of an interview granted by Tokunbo Wahab, and he did talk about that being on that. I mean, when he was being asked about what is being done for those who have been affected by the flood, and he said that was within the purview of NEMA, and that NEMA had that there were actually provisions for a number of these people who have been affected by the flood.
So such things should be announced and let people have understanding. I'm sure those that stay at Lekki can afford such places, and if it's going to be for 1 or 2 weeks, that you'll be actually displaced from your
How
home.
we know that
You
it
can
is
do
1 or 2 weeks? Rainy season is up until October, and with the impact of climate change, the weather as it is not the weather as it ought to be. We're seeing shifting times and seasons. This will be the second flash flood we've experienced this year.
And even August used to be August break, and I'm wondering why we still haven't break.
I mean,
a lot of wedding activities.
It's climate change. We spoke to
Desmond Makedoni yesterday.
And personally, I've stopped pulling down my retractable roof of my convertible because I don't want to end up on social media, on Instablog. It's not my fault to use convertible. I'll now pop up the umbrella.
And maybe the day that you open your convertible,
Yes,
that it will refuse to close. And then you'll be raining heavily. You'll be swimming in your car. If you see me swim by...
swimming inside right.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
okay, let's talk about this young girl, Nafis Abdullahi, who won an English competition against even native English speakers. She won over 60,000 participants. We're seeing here, her name is Nafis Abdullahi. It's at the top right corner of the leadership newspaper. There are those who are advocating that she should get the same $100,000, the same treatment that was given to the winners in the sports sector. Do you agree?
It's not something we should advocate for. If Mr. President actually value education, she should get such. We
Same
should not
amount?
be talking.
So our money will soon finish.
That money no they finish. I was saying it yesterday that if money they finish for Nigeria, all the money where they don't they chop, by now Nigeria will cease to exist. That money is there. We should prioritize things. This lady has brought glory because the essence of actually giving those things to those falcons, tigress is that they actually made the country proud. And this lady has done the same. If we are not giving attention to this, what we are telling our younger generation is that we are not valuing education and they can resort to other activities. So it's not something we should advocate for. I expect that by now, the lady should be with Mr. President on one of the visits once she's back. And even at her age, if she's lower, if she's not getting OON, she can get MON, at least member of the Order of Niger, to show that she has actually made us proud. And that will encourage people. Look at the result of WAEC yesterday. I was shocked. 30% pass mark.
That's abysmal.
Past 30%.
Just
people
coming off the back of what happened with JAM.
and we are entering into this. And a lot of people are coming out to say it's because it's CBT. People are not conversant with some of those. I said, do you know that more than 90% of the younger generation have access to phone?
They are digital natives.
So why are you telling me that CBT should be strange to them?
I have 2 comments on that. One, if I were to write an article this morning, which I'm having a spirit of doing, my headline would be President Tinubu can leave the job of ministers and their ministry. And what do I mean? I think this awarding good initiative, good work, just like we've seen from Nafisat, I think it should be handled by the ministry. The Ministry of Education should be able to reach out to her and award her. Maybe not with national honor. In that way, let the president focus on the serious issues that he has to face. Same thing should have been done by the Ministry of Sports. The Ministry of Sports should be able to welcome the girls, shake them, and possibly give them,
but the achievement is international.
We agree, but you see, that's just my thought. I think the ministry should get to work. If Nafisat has not been congratulated, I don't know, I've not gone on X to see if the Minister of Education has indeed sent a congratulatory message to her, then he should do that and bring her in. Yeah, and I think that's so that the president can start focusing more on the nurses who are the national
Joe,
but you can chew gum and
drink water at the same time.
So, Joe, I appreciate that your submission, but you see, there are certain things I will always say that the ministry can make recommendation, and Mr. President, that will not take the whole day, and that will not take forever. Do you know what it is when you are invited to Aso Rock and you have then? It is not that we are, giving them money, giving them dollars. Those days, the handshake with Mr. President, handshake that the likes of Odegbami and the likes got, they kept their hands for. So having an interaction, that might be a one-life thing that we just experience in our life. And that's, I feel, the ministry can make recommendation, as in the minister now recommending to Mr. President, have a date with him and give that publication where you can take your picture. Maybe 25 years to come, Nofisat can definitely come
and we don't win all the times.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
look at the boys, for example. They were beaten by Senegal yesterday after dancing.
Beaten like a talking drum.
Something, so Joe, something is worrisome to me. Something is worrisome. It's funny, but it's a serious issue. The level at which the ladies are taking over, it's quite disturbing to me as a
Why
guy.
is it disturbing to you?
I mean, Joe, we should watch our back.
We should watch us.
Even
I was
should I go and meet management that I can do it alone?
and the rest of these guys should just leave.
I don't understand what you both, what you three are saying, but hold on. Let's talk to Uche from Abia State. Good morning, Uche.
Men supporting men.
Good morning. Please go ahead. Your voice is a bit low, so can you please protect?
This issue of WAEC.
Okay.
I'm still surprised that most of people are not talking about the highest office of the land. In our constitution, which is, if you can read and write, most of you people are educated. You people are not questioning that area that you can read and write. You can be a president of the country. That is why our education is going this the way it's going. The highest office, a driver that seeks for employment in your company, you ask him his or her qualification. But to be a president of the country, the highest office is just to read and write. It's a pity. God bless you people.
Thank you very much.
Now, these are the issues, and he's brought it to the fore, but I don't think we have enough time to dissect that.
No,
today.
we don't.
Because if we want to go into that, we'll have to look at the entire constitution, and there have been fights and arguments over this, especially from those who have been appointed to serve the nation. These ones have gone on to say, as long as you can read and write, ordinary school certificate, school cert, it's enough for you to, you know. So it seems like maybe we're putting pressure on the students when, at the end of the day, the one who is at the top that is ruling doesn't have what the, you know.
Joe, it's actually counterproductive, if you ask me. If you know that you don't need all those qualifications to be at the top, why do you struggle? A child came to me and said, sir, I attempted further maths. So I just want to ask you, how much of that courses did you told me you did further maths? I said, yes. How much of that topic did you put to use right from your tertiary institution? I was caught abased to, like, sincerely speaking, all those differentiation, integration, algebra, and the likes. Majority of these things were not actually put to use. It's more.
Yeah, but if you're an engineer, you would use it.
Those engineering, but you know, people that are not in engineering that were in science classes, actually, I think part of the things is we should have counselors that will guide people when they're actually picking some of these subjects to actually do, so that it will be an easy way.
Like in biology, I drew cockroach. I don't know what I'm using cockroach to do in journalism now. I can identify a cockroach. I don't need to draw it.
You know, and those days they will tell you that when you are in art class, you need to have one science course, and I asked of the relevance of some of those
Intro
things.
tech.
You know,
that had the majority of the most wicked teachers. We were doing sawmill. I cut my thumb a few times. Instead of it to be introduction to ICT, we should have been coding. We were doing carpentry work.
Well, we still need some of those carpentry work. So, but I feel we should review some of those curriculum to align with the current trends that are happening out there.
And I keep saying it, that our educational sector needs a complete revamp. But let's go to the Daily Times now. The Daily Times. Let's do the Daily Times very quickly. Court convicts 21 foreigners for hacking. Orders deportation. Page 2, you find that story there.
Great news, and I like that the Air Force, but the law enforcement agents, because some of these foreigners are giving Nigeria a bad name. Their IP address will be reading Nigeria. They won't know that it's somebody from another country.
Imagine
that is doing it.
I mean, I know Mr. Lucius understands what you mean by that. In terms of looking at what it will cost for the image of Nigeria.
Well, my issue is not, it's a good initiative, at least. It's not only Nigerians that have been deported back from other countries. We too can deport people back to their country. But do we have it tight-fitted in such a way that these people won't find their way back into the country? That's my worry. A lot of those people...
How did they find their way here in the first place?
You know, first place, we have a lot of people just the same way is obtainable that are in this country without the right documentation, and They are doing all funny things that they feel they can do. And like Benga said, he's reading our IP, the location. If anybody wants to pick where those things are acting, they will tell you. So you can imagine these 21 that were caught. I'm sure they've reproduced more than 21 on their path that are doing the same thing as far as this country. So people will say, be careful of Nigeria. You have so many fraudsters. You have so many people who are committing cybercrime in that country, not knowing that it's the same set of people that we are importing into our country that are actually perpetrating this. It's a good one, but I just feel that the agency concerned should monitor it properly, because you know a lot of people will go out. The next minute they are coming, they change their name and come with different name and still commit that same crime without anybody change location, change everything they have to do, and start committing the same crime which they were actually deported for.
Okay, I think that does bulletin for today. I don't believe that there's any story we haven't touched yet.
Yeah, there is. There is.
Which of them?
On the Daily Times, there's a story there. Police arrest 211 suspects in Delta, recover 8.5 million ransom and firearms.
Hey, yes, I
think
saw
that's a good one. I saw that story yesterday and I uploaded the police.
And I think
Well
we
done.
need to start building more, better and bigger detention facilities, because it seems crime rate is going up, and you need a proper place to also keep all those people. And we also need to find a way to, channel some of this prison, make them work for their money, some of the inmates. So while they're serving their time, they're working on plantations and maybe doing educational courses and all of that. Just being convicted should not be the end to their life. They could be put to very productive use. Yeah,
I was about saying that most of our correctional facilities, we need to start. I remember, was it Fashola or Ambode during the regime as governor of Lagos? We had spaces at Epe where some of those miscreants were actually, when they pick you, you go there for field agricultural stuff and the likes. I think we should start making...
That is the solution to cleaning Lagos and
so
other
you
states
put them
out
to
of
use and earn good quality
Let
to
them
some of those
get them
things.
into agriculture, mining, whatever. Just put them there.
Well,
I don't know.
These will continue. These conversations will continue. We'll be back again same time tomorrow. I want to say thank you very much for joining us. And our hearts go out to as many who have been affected by the floods. We're seeing the newspapers reporting that 50 houses, schools and churches in Plateau have been destroyed by, floods. So as many who have been affected, our hearts really go out to you, and we hope that you get some sort of succor. As we wrap up the show, on a much lighter but very important note, who runs the world?
God.
God runs the world.
Girls. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
God runs the world.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for
very much.
watching.
Maybe you
I'm
said it,
surprised
G.
Mr. Sesan Okunade doesn't use the title, or you don't use an honorific of accountant.